February 2026 brought a wave of major game announcements across many genres and studios. Several new projects were revealed, giving a first look at upcoming worlds, gameplay ideas, and ambitious concepts. Let's check out the reveals from the month of February.
A cultivated shell. Transplanted memories.
Projekt DNA is a post-apocalyptic action MMORPG set in 2046 after an asteroid impact devastates Earth and forces the remaining humans to survive in underground bunkers. Advanced biotechnology creates evolved humans with psychic abilities and the capability to transfer memories into cultivated bodies, allowing a form of immortality. Combat uses fast-paced, non-targeting action that requires precise movement and strategy. A genetic evolution system lets characters adapt and grow in different ways, while 6 characters use elemental powers including lightning, water, air, fire, earth, and darkness. .007 First Light is an espionage action-adventure game that tells an origin story of James Bond during his early time in MI6's training program. The story begins after a young naval air crewman Bond is recruited into the revived 00 program following a heroic act. Missions involve tracking a rogue agent while uncovering a conspiracy inside the state. Gameplay allows different approaches, including stealth infiltration, gadget use, hand-to-hand combat, firearms, driving vehicles, and replaying missions with modifiers to test different strategies.
Every whisper in every corner of Aleph. And I answer, I built Aleph with my will, my blood, myself. This city is an extension of my being, my body. Today, it became infected. And as we all know, if an infection is left untreated, the body can become rotten, sicken, and die. That infection? Greed. In Bakar Ali, once so loyal, greed grew unchecked, becoming a cancer. A cancer that threatened to weaken Aleph, endangering all of us, everything we built. However, cancer, if caught early, can be cured. Or in our case, cut out and served on a planet. Easy, girls. Plenty of meat for everyone.
Girls. Of course.
Our old friend was just the appetizer. Did you really believe you could come here and poison Aleph's well of trust? I think not. Now, you die.
Samson is an action-adventure game set in the harsh city of Tindleston, where a man returns while owing dangerous criminals who threaten his sister to force him into violent jobs. Gameplay combines close-quarters brawler combat with weaponized driving through streets, rooftops, alleys, and industrial zones. Cars function as tools for ramming, drifting, and escaping during chases. An action point system limits which missions can be taken each day, while a skill tree with more than 20 upgrades strengthens Samson's fighting ability and vehicle tactics. Dreadmore is a first-person fishing adventure set in a flooded world, damaged by a past catastrophe where coastal regions and settlements lie beneath murky water. Players operate a fishing trawler while catching different species, trading valuable catches, and upgrading their boat for longer trips. Resources collected from shipwrecks, buildings, and caves are used to craft bait, tools, medicine, and survival equipment. Encounters with mutated creatures occur both at sea and on land, requiring real-time combat while managing supplies and navigating dangerous waters.
It woke without warning.
Into the Fire is an extraction survival game set on a volcanic island during a catastrophic eruption where players enter dangerous zones to rescue trapped people and animals. Missions involve navigating ash storms, lava flows, collapsing buildings, and fire anomalies while managing water, temperature, and limited supplies. Specialized rescue tools such as suppression pistols, extinguishing shotguns, and zip lines help control flames and open escape routes. Survivors brought back to the hub settlement unlock new equipment, abilities, and missions that influence future rescue operations.
Keep your eyes wide open. Check everything. Nothing goes to waste. And if there are still people out there, we find them. They mean hope for our station.
Another day in hell.
Are you ready?
Where are you? Living fucking fire! Shit! I'm coming for you! Where are you? Stay with me. Got her, William.
Danger's rising. Evacuate.
Roger that.
We bring them here. We hold this place together. Long enough to move people through. Long enough to get some of them out. I've seen men die chasing the story of a hero. The smart ones learn when to turn away. Even when the fire falls. The hand of God rests upon you.
Sprawl Zero is a first-person shooter set in a cyberpunk city controlled by a military junta and threatened by a radical techno-religious faction. Players control 5, a cybernetically enhanced soldier tasked with eliminating a cult leader while fighting through coordinated enemy squads. Combat relies on fast movement, tactical gunfights, and physics-based abilities such as gravity gloves, gravity shield, and bullet-time shooting. More than 40 weapons support different combat styles, while handcrafted levels include vertical routes and multiple paths through dense urban environments.
This island feels like it's maintained.
The Shore is a first-person horror story game taking place on a remote island filled with mysterious creatures inspired by Lovecraftian mythology. Players control Andrew, a father searching for his missing daughter while investigating strange events across abandoned locations. Gameplay involves solving environmental puzzles, studying symbols and artifacts, and confronting hostile entities. Special relics linked to ancient gods provide abilities used during encounters. The narrative gradually reveals hidden history behind the island, the creatures, and Andrew's deteriorating sanity. Luna Abyss is a single-player action-adventure set inside a vast structure beneath the mimic moon Luna, where a prisoner named Fox is ordered to search abandoned ruins for lost technology. Gameplay combines first-person platforming with fast bullet hell combat that requires constant movement, jumping, and dashing through hostile areas. An artificial overseer named Aelin monitors each mission while directing the search. As players descend deeper, fragments of a lost colony and its downfall gradually emerge through environments and encounters. Second Stone: The Legend of the Hidden World is a story-driven action RPG where players control Shiren, a young treasure hunter from Aramaya Village searching for the truth behind a mysterious dark mirror world. Gameplay combines platforming movement with fast combat using swords, spells, and customizable abilities. Players travel between two parallel worlds while collecting elemental mana stones that modify weapons, armor, and magic. Character progression uses equipment upgrades and a skill tree system that allows different combat builds and strategies against dangerous creatures and bosses.
We imagined this game with all the vibes, all the spirit of the colorful games we remember playing as kids. Think of something as adventurous as Jak and Daxter maybe, but with swords, spells and rich RPG customization systems. We're honestly just trying to make the smoothest and most fun action RPG we can. So if you end up replaying the game just because you like how it feels, then I think we've done a good job.
The thing that makes Second Stone so special, at least for us, is that it feels like the classics we grew up with but plays like a modern game. We try to draw inspiration from all the games we've played and loved throughout the years, so we might take a look at what made the early 3D platforming games so charming, analyze hit stops in fighting games to add a sense of impact to each attack, or just look at how Astrobot teaches you everything about the game without ever interrupting the fun. As a result, Second Stone has a bunch of different stuff you can really lose track of time with, be it exploring the world, tinkering with your build, doing another run in the roguelike temples, or just taking a break to play cards with the villagers.
Yeah, working on Second Stone has been such a fun and crazy journey. It's been like chasing the silhouette of our dream game or something like that. And yeah, it's quickly becoming this pretty wild and refreshing cool game that we can't wait to share with all of you.
Slay the Spire 2 is a roguelike deck-building strategy game where players build a deck of cards while climbing a dangerous tower filled with enemies, relics, and unpredictable events. Each run involves selecting cards, collecting relics, and adapting strategies during turn-based battles against strange creatures. Different playable characters provide unique card sets and combat styles. The structure changes between attempts, creating new encounters and routes through the Spire, while an online cooperative mode allows up to 4 players to coordinate decks and tactics together.
안녕하세요. 갓세이브 버밍엄의 크리에이티브 디렉터 차현성입니다.
안녕하세요. 갓세이브 버밍엄의 프로덕션 디렉터 신순욱입니다.
God Save Birmingham is an open-world survival game set in a detailed recreation of 14th century Birmingham during a deadly undead plague. Players control one of the last survivors while searching the town for food, water, tools, and shelter. Survival depends on managing hunger and resources while avoiding groups of infected citizens. Physics-based interactions allow barricading doors with furniture, climbing obstacles, and using environmental objects during escapes, while different areas of the town contain supplies hidden inside homes, markets, and workshops.
Progression goals when starting the game. The guide introduces the player character, setting, and premise. It serves as a tutorial that teaches the player what they can do and presents your character's thoughts and goals based on the current situation. You can think of it as a content system that fulfills the role of both tutorials and quests typically found in survival games. Next, let's look at what was developed regarding weapons and combat, which many players have shown an interest and given feedback about during the pre-alpha test. In the alpha build, one-handed blunt weapons have been implemented. These include clubs, maces, and hammers. Since they have no blades, they're not well suited to cutting off zombie limbs, but they are effective for attacking the head. Setting them further apart from other weapon types, they can also stagger zombies and momentarily hinder their movement. A wide range of tools will be included in this weapon category, from actual weapons like maces to everyday tools like rolling pins. We've also added a scythe as an available weapon in the alpha build. Scythes often appear as flashy weapons in medieval fantasy games, but in our game, they're actually an agricultural tool being used as a weapon. That said, it's a tool familiar to farmers. If you swing it with more force than you would when cutting grass, it can slice through a zombie's leg or knock them down. When we were creating the swing animation for the scythe, we referred heavily to real scythe handling motions used in farming. Objects in the game now have durability. If you use weapons or tools for a long time, their durability will decrease and they'll break. You'll need to stockpile materials for repairs or keep spare equipment on hand to survive. Durability also applies to locked doors and barricades. If you encounter a locked house you want to loot, you can kick or attack the door to break it open. Conversely, if it's your own shelter, you'll need to manage the durability of doors and barricades to prevent zombie intrusion. Weapons or tools that use blades now have sharpness to manage. If a blade becomes dull, it will be less effective for killing zombies. After spending the day scavenging and fighting, you can return to your shelter and sharpen your worn blades before going to sleep to prepare for the next day's survival. Based on feedback from the pre-alpha test, we've improved the game's aiming system so the player's melee attacks will now accurately hit the point your mouse reticle is aimed at. Combat in God Save Birmingham is designed so that the character strikes exactly where the player intends, and zombies react differently depending on which body part is hit. This encourages players to strategically choose target areas and develop precision in hitting those exact spots. Allowing the main character to precisely strike arbitrary points based on the player's aim in a third-person melee system with a behind-the-back camera and realistic animation has been a big technical challenge. This wasn't polished enough in the pre-alpha build, which resulted in a less satisfying combat experience. We've also kicked off full-scale development on the crafting system. To survive in a village overrun by zombies, securing your doors is extremely important. In the alpha build, the door system has been further enhanced. You can now lock doors with a latch, preventing zombies outside from simply pushing their way in. If a building has entrances you don't intend to use, you can fully block them with nails and boards to make your shelter safer. On the flip side, many houses in the village will now be found locked or barricaded. You'll need tools to either break or dismantle obstacles in order to get in and loot supplies, and it will take time to accomplish either way. We took our first steps towards a system that allows players to construct and place various survival-related structures. You can now build things like fire pits and drying racks wherever you want. Right now, only a few basic craftables and constructions are available, but many more will be added throughout development. God Save Birmingham is a survival simulation game, where a key part of gameplay is managing the player character's health and related status effects. In the alpha build, we've further refined the health management system and would like to share the improvements. If you leave your wounds untreated, linger too long in a cold environment, or if your body gets too dirty, you may catch a disease.
Oh, God.
Diseases range from mild illness like colds that impose small penalties, to deadly ones like plague that can kill you and end the game. When your character is bitten by zombies or falls from high places, they'll take injuries that need to be properly treated.
Fuck.
Apply ointment and wrap wounds, and replace wraps until wounds heal. If neglected, your character may suffer severe damage from bleeding or infection.
Oh, God.
Your character will gradually become dirty during gameplay, particularly when they get splattered with blood from killing zombies or take a fall in a muddy area. To clean up, you can wash yourself in the stream or a basin of water. Neglect your hygiene for too long, and your character may catch a cold or some other infectious disease, resulting in various penalties. God Save Birmingham is being developed with the goal of presenting a vivid, realistic, and intricate visual depiction of the player character's movements as they engage in various survival activities. This includes animations for things like wrapping and unwrapping wounds on various body parts, pouring water from a container to wash your body, chopping ingredients into a stew pot, and sharpening the blade of a scythe or axe. During the development of the alpha build, we've implemented a framework that allows for more diverse and detailed movement animations. We plan to continue expanding the variety of movement animations from now until the game's launch.
알파 빌드를 개발하는 기간 동안 저번 테스트에서 여러분들께서 남겨주신 피드백이 많은 도움이 되었습니다. 이번 플레이 테스트에도 참여해주시고 피드백 남겨주시면 저희가 앞으로 개발을 하는데 많은 도움이 될 것 같습니다. 감사합니다.
Aphelion is a sci-fi action-adventure where astronaut Ariane searches a frozen planet called Persephone after a crash separates her from her injured partner Thomas. Gameplay combines traversal across icy terrain with climbing, grappling, sliding, and parkour-style movement using tools such as a Pathfinder device and oxygen equipment. Sections also involve stealth as a hostile life form hunts the crew across the planet. As both characters investigate the environment, clues reveal the cause of the crash and the strange phenomena affecting the planet.
My scan is getting something. Could that be these magnetic lines?
Orion. I don't know what this is, but it changes everything.
Thomas Cross to unknown base. ESA-led mission Hope 1 in distress after emergency landing. No luck here either. The main power's offline. There. The fence is broken. That's my way in. Okay then, let's have a look. Someone engaged the manual shutdown here. Bingo!
But this one doesn't react to any of the frequencies. The magnetic line seems corrupted. Maybe I should follow it upstream to see what's going on. Did I just fix that line? Let's see if the other node reacts to the scanner now. It's responding now.
No signs of life, but something's wrong here. Yeah, that's locked. What's the code here? Looks like they left in a hurry. The first crew on Persephone. I thought that was supposed to be us. Anybody home?
Thomas, I can see that light reflection. It can't be far now. Another close call. If I fall here, no one will ever find me. I hope I won't regret this, but it seems like the only way. Holy shit. One step at a time. Shit. Gotta keep this quiet.
Been fighting longer than I can remember.
Marvel's Wolverine is an action-adventure game based on the Marvel Comics character Logan, also known as Wolverine. The story centers on a centuries-old mutant with retractable claws, heightened instincts, and a powerful healing ability after his skeleton becomes fused with adamantium through experimentation. Players control Logan during a standalone story connected to Insomniac's Marvel Universe. The narrative introduces characters from X-Men mythology such as Mystique, Omega Red, and the Sentinels, while focusing on combat and story events built around Wolverine's abilities.
Where I go. How far I run. Death's always waiting. Just not for me. Wolverine.
Cthulhu: The Cosmic Abysses is a narrative adventure where investigator Noah examines the disappearance of workers at a deep-sea mining station in the Pacific Ocean. The search leads into Raleigh, an ancient submerged city connected to cosmic entities from Lovecraftian mythology. Gameplay involves gathering clues, solving environmental puzzles, and working with an AI companion named Key while navigating shifting structures beneath the ocean. Encounters with supernatural forces affect the character's sanity, influencing investigation decisions and the direction of the unfolding case.
It will rewrite the history of humankind.
The Cyclopean ruins we've discovered during our initial exploration
Are proof that civilizations rose and fell on Earth in its antediluvian past. Our first manned expedition
will leave for the city in 2 days' time.
We'll set up a base camp from which to conduct our exploration. If the maze is any indication,
What we're about to see
will change our very understanding of the universe.
Stay back! Stay back!
Nakwon: Last Paradise is a multiplayer zombie survival game set in a devastated South Korean city where players manage a refuge while searching dangerous districts for supplies. Gameplay alternates between maintaining a shelter during the day and entering the city at night to scavenge resources. Expeditions involve encounters with infected creatures and other survivors in PvPvE situations. Players gather materials, craft equipment, upgrade shelter facilities, and choose strategies such as stealth, cooperation, or betrayal while attempting to return safely. Drowned Lake is a fishing survival horror game where three strangers investigate the disappearance of an amateur documentarian near a mysterious lake. Players control Carolina, Raphael, or Leonardo, each with different motivations and personal secrets. Gameplay combines fishing mechanics with investigation while searching abandoned boats, shorelines, and hidden locations for clues and recorded tapes. The lake hides supernatural dangers inspired by Brazilian folklore, and the choices made during encounters gradually reveal the history behind the disappearance and the forces haunting the water.
Welcome to Hela, a heartwarming, open-world adventure set in a magical world.
Hela is a 3D adventure game where players control a small mouse helping a sick witch by gathering ingredients and restoring balance across a nature-filled land inspired by Scandinavian landscapes. Gameplay involves platforming movement, puzzle solving, and interacting with objects using a magical backpack that helps collect items and manipulate the environment. Players travel through forests, lakes, and mountain paths while completing tasks that support the world around them. The game supports solo play as well as cooperative play through local or online modes.
The witch grants you a small gift, a froggy backpack holding a touch of her magic. This backpack is the key to exploring further, reaching higher, and interacting with the world in new ways. To move through the forest with ease, you'll need more than tiny paws. With your backpack's frog tongue, you can latch onto branches, beams, and ledges, swinging freely as you build momentum and carry it forward. Up or down, there's rarely just one way forward. You can use the tongue to climb higher, lower yourself carefully, or lend a paw to a friend in need. Sometimes the path reveals itself when you work together. Your tongue isn't just for getting around. It's how you interact with the world. Latch onto objects, pull them closer, drag them into place, or give them a helpful nudge. When you start working together, simple tools become surprisingly powerful. By linking yourself to another player or a shade, you can turn your tongue into a bridge. Walk across it, bounce along it, or use it to carry something safely to the other side. Some forest creatures may choose to help you along the way, sharing their speed and strength, carrying you further than tiny paws ever could. Use your lasso, hold on tight, and enjoy the ride. Your backpack can inflate, letting you glide through the air like a paraglider. Take in the views and master the skill to maneuver mid-air and reach exactly where you want to go. You can also inflate your backpack on the ground to create a bouncing platform, perfect for reaching new heights. Friends of the Forest can also teach you new abilities, helping you explore and open paths that were once closed. Learn from them to unlock new abilities, like double jump. Thanks to a backpack, you can also plunge to the ground with great force. Plunging is great for accessing hidden areas, bouncing even higher off trampolines, or simply causing a delightful bit of chaos. Along your journey, you'll gather all sorts of useful things, ingredients, tools, and curious little finds. Your froggy backpack keeps them safe until you're ready to use them back at the witch's cottage. Nothing goes to waste. Thanks to the backpack's magic, you can create shades when playing solo or with fewer than 4 players. You can create a shade while performing different actions, holding an object with the lasso, forming a bridge, or even gliding through the air. Once created, a shade continues the action you started. Whether you're playing alone or with friends, you can always fill out the team to up to 4 mice total. Your frog backpack is your constant companion, opening up playful and surprising ways to explore the world of Hela, whether you travel alone or alongside friends.
10 minutes remain until forced signal recall.
This might be interesting.
Time to move.
Marathon is a PvPvE extraction shooter set on the abandoned colony of Tau Ceti 4, where players act as cybernetic runners searching dangerous zones for valuable technology and supplies. Each match involves entering hostile areas, gathering loot, and escaping before rival teams or security forces eliminate the squad. Players choose different runner shells that define abilities and equipment options, while weapons and implants allow varied builds. Contracts from competing factions provide objectives and progression that strengthen characters across multiple runs.
This your thing? How about this?
Macefield marked. Careful.
Watch it.
Reloading.
I'm gone. Force recall in 5 minutes.
Gate Guard Simulator is a medieval simulation game where players control a castle guard responsible for checking travelers who request entry to a fortified city. Gameplay involves inspecting documents, verifying official seals, and questioning visitors to identify smugglers, criminals, or disguised threats. Guards can search carts, examine suspicious cargo, and use tools such as plague masks or holy water to investigate unusual situations. Decisions determine whether travelers enter the castle, are turned away, or face arrest, while bribes and personal choices influence outcomes.
Will keep us safe, provided the gate is unguarded by a moron. Provided the gate is unguarded by a moron.
Flesh and Wire is a psychological horror first-person shooter set within the Postal universe where players control Angel, a survivor seeking answers and revenge after a violent attack changes her life. Gameplay involves fighting hostile forces such as military units, agents, and cultists using firearms, explosives, improvised weapons, and strange artifacts. Locations range from city streets to remote wilderness areas, while disturbing visions blur reality with nightmare imagery. A journal records discoveries, enemy encounters, and hidden messages that gradually reveal the cause of the unfolding chaos.
Something went horribly wrong. We called her Blossom.
Blossom: The Seed of Life is an open-world survival crafting game where players control a robot tasked with restoring life on a dead planet through large-scale terraforming. Gameplay involves collecting resources, printing machines, constructing bases, and managing energy while operating in a harsh environment. Players change planetary conditions by adjusting pressure and temperature, creating water and soil that support plants, forests, and animal life. Modular vehicles, drones, and automated systems help expand operations across distant regions of the planet.
This is not a story about saving the world. It is about beginning a new one. Her name is Blossom, and I hope she finishes what we could not.
Nothing ever stuck to the script. Because order doesn't show up unless someone performs it into place. Everyone's performing.
Blackwood is a third-person action shooter set in New York during 2012, where a DVD store owner secretly works as a contract killer at night. Gameplay alternates between managing the store during the day and completing violent missions across the city after dark. Combat includes responsive gunplay, movement actions such as dives and rolls, and contextual melee takedowns using nearby objects. Store management systems involve restocking inventory, setting prices, and maintaining the business while balancing the risks of a hidden criminal life.
I've got the counter.
All right.
Let's see. Thanks for stopping by. I'm stepping out. Help the counter. I'll need more ammo before heading out. Man, I'm screwed with how much money I spend. That's all for tonight, folks.
Thornfield. You keep showing up like a bad habit.
Celestial Return is a story-driven RPG set in Nethervale City, where players control Detective Howard while investigating a chain of strange deaths connected to corporate conspiracies and cosmic horrors. Gameplay relies on a dice-based system used during dialogue, investigation, and risky actions. Dice function as a limited resource that can be earned, spent, or lost during encounters. Character traits influence conversations and decisions. While exploring the city, questioning unusual figures, and gathering clues gradually reveals the truth behind the events.
Don't lie to yourself. You knew how this ended before it began.
Wake up.
And those little toys of yours? Click, clack. Praying for a 6 in a city built on zeros.
Wake up, Howard!
You aren't a savior. You're just spare parts working in a trench coat. Let's give your failure a proper name. Let's call it...
Calx is a 3D action-adventure set on the warp-altered planet Cyro, where players control a character known as the Seeker, while investigating the ruins of an ancient civilization. Gameplay relies heavily on movement abilities such as double jumping, dashing, levitating, and grappling to reach distant structures and hidden paths. Players scan environments, solve puzzles, and gather fragments of lost technology that upgrade movement and combat. Lost and Found: A This Bed We Made story is a narrative mystery set aboard a 1960s transatlantic ship where players control stewardess Sophie Roy during her new assignment. Reports of missing belongings lead her to investigate passengers and crew while performing daily duties across the ship's cabins and corridors. Grime 2 is a Metroidvania action RPG where players control a being known as the Formless that steals the shapes of defeated enemies. Combat involves launching tendrils to parry attacks, grasp opponents, and absorb their forms to create molds that grant new abilities. These molds can summon allies, launch projectiles, or manipulate enemies during fights. Progression unlocks weapons and powers that open new routes through a strange world filled with unusual civilizations, environmental hazards, and large boss encounters. Map. A game about maps is a cartography adventure where players act as the map maker for a small expedition searching for a legendary treasure across several islands. Gameplay involves walking through landscapes and drawing accurate maps by marking landmarks, ruins, and paths based on observation. Navigation tools such as a compass, telescope, sextant, and step counter help measure distance and direction. Completing tasks for the crew unlocks additional tools and reveals new locations that guide the search for the hidden treasure.
Fellow countrymen, the world is gripped by a war without end.
Nobleman 1941 is a third-person shooter combined with real-time strategy elements set in an alternate World War II, where a global plague and war reshape nations. Players control a powerful commander known as a nobleman who leads troops during large battles. Gameplay includes deploying infantry, vehicles, and experimental units while capturing strategic locations and building defenses. Combat uses mechanics such as armor penetration, bullet physics, and morale systems, while campaign progression involves managing resources, unlocking abilities, and upgrading equipment.
And the weight of our future. With their courage, this endless war can be broken. And with their strength, we shall...
Spark in the Dark is a dark fantasy dungeon crawler where players descend into a massive ancient dungeon filled with hostile creatures, traps, and hidden secrets. Players choose from several character classes that provide different skills and combat approaches. Progression involves improving abilities through repeated use while managing equipment, durability, injuries, curses, and blessings. Each descent features procedurally generated enemies, loot, and dungeon elements, while books, notes, and environmental details reveal fragments of the dungeon's long history. Psych Rift is an action-adventure set inside a secret research facility where experiments with psychic warfare open a dangerous rift to a hostile entity. Players wake inside the abandoned complex with no memory and must navigate distorted corridors, shifting environments, and maze-like structures. Gameplay combines stealth, physics-based puzzles, and survival encounters with monsters and traps. Strange devices discovered throughout the facility grant unusual abilities that help bypass obstacles, while research logs and recordings reveal the events behind the disaster. Tremin is a first-person shooter set in a dystopian future where mutants control humanity and use enslaved avatars to fight on their behalf. Players control one of these avatars while moving through underground complexes and brutalist environments. Combat involves fast encounters against different mutant enemies using a range of upgradable weapons such as laser guns and shock rifles. The campaign includes multiple levels across several locations, each filled with traps, heavy resistance, and aggressive enemy types.
Thoughtless men, oh, and take by me, and never leave your happy home.
Windrose is an open-world survival adventure set during an alternate age of piracy, where players captain a ship while building bases and searching islands for resources. Gameplay includes crafting equipment, constructing settlements, and recruiting crew members who assist with production and defense. Naval battles allow players to fire cannons or board enemy ships before returning to land for melee and firearm combat against enemies and bosses. The world contains procedurally generated regions, dungeons, and faction activities that support solo or cooperative play.
On the seas I've seen the cannons glaring flash. Its thunderous roar. Though now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. Should hostile fleets e'er venture upon the raging main, through hearts of oak we British tars will push the sea again. Come pity them, the strangers, a luckless British tar. In your defense he may have hurled the thunderbolts of war. All hands! Come lend some kind assistance, and heaven will bless your store. For now I'm turned adrift to start upon my native.
Gloria Victis Medieval MMORPG is an online role-playing game set in a low-fantasy medieval world where players participate in large-scale conflicts between three nations. Combat uses skill-based, non-target mechanics that require timing and positioning during battles. Players capture castles, defend territories, and build fortifications during open-world PvP warfare. The game also includes a player-driven economy where resources are gathered and items are crafted through professions such as blacksmithing, farming, and trading while characters progress without fixed classes. Valorborn is a sandbox RPG set in a medieval fantasy world where towns, factions, and characters continue their activities independently. Players choose roles such as thief, hunter, or sellsword, and travel alone or with a party across a fully enterable environment. Gameplay includes survival tasks like hunting, crafting gear, and building temporary camps during long journeys. Characters improve skills by performing actions such as stealth, combat, and trading, while faction conflicts and local events create changing opportunities and dangers.
Will you stand together or fall alone? Which path will you take? The choice is yours.
Solarpunk is a survival crafting game set in a world of floating islands where players build homes, grow food, and manage technology powered by natural energy sources. Gameplay includes constructing structures, farming crops, and creating gadgets that help automate daily tasks. Electricity is generated using wind, sunlight, and water, then stored and distributed across the base. Players can build personal airships to travel between distant islands, gather resources, and expand their settlements alone or with others.
Hello there, this is Artur Salwarowski from Iron Wolf Studio, and today I would like to show you.
Sherman Commander is a tactical tank simulation set during World War II where players lead a platoon of American M4 Sherman tanks in major European battles. Gameplay allows players to control a tank directly by issuing orders to the crew while managing movement, targeting, and battlefield awareness. A tactical map provides control over supporting infantry and armored units during engagements. Missions take place across historical locations, with destructible terrain that changes combat routes and firing positions during battles.
Enabling you both to blow stuff up to bits, as well as exercise your grey matter over multiple ways of achieving your objectives. When we first sat down to discuss how to go about creating a Sherman tank game, we thought about the tank's battlefield role and identity. And as the Sherman was first and foremost an infantry support tank, it quickly transpired that infantry would hold a prominent role in our game. Consequently, in order to be successful in Sherman Commander, you will need to closely cooperate with your troops. From the hedgerow hell of Normandy, through sprawling German cityscapes, all the way to the majestic Ardennes forest. In all those theaters, tanks without infantry support would become immensely vulnerable, and vice versa. These two elements always had to cooperate with each other to achieve their full battlefield potential. Once we placed this idea at the very center of our framework, we already had a clear vision of where we wanted to go with the project.
Ready! Fire! Loading!
While the idea seemed sound, an idea is only as good as its reception, and we still had to prove it outside of our own echo chamber. And so we went on to produce a playable version that would convince our prospective player base that this is indeed something to consider. And so, once Sherman Commander was good enough to be shown to the world, we organized an open playtest to gather feedback and see how the public reacts to our game idea. The results surpassed our expectations by far. Not only did the players love the idea and the atmosphere of our game, but they also gave us plenty of insightful observations on how we could further improve it and make it even more enjoyable. And so, upon receiving that feedback, we gathered and discussed how we could best cater to the needs of the player base and how to best implement their suggestions. What the players mostly wanted was to spend more time in the tank and less on the tactical map. And so we focused on refining and improving the ways in which you command your force in the 3D world. We also made sure that the troops you command have more autonomy, so that you, as the player, can spend less time babysitting them and can focus more on fighting from your own tank.
Ready! Fire! Loading!
I guess I can now say with confidence that the game has improved tremendously since the playtests, and that the points that our playtesters made have been addressed adequately. We have strived to improve battlefield awareness, unit autonomy, and the sense of leading your troops in 3D. I am sure that our playtesters will welcome these additions once they see how much the game has evolved. And there you have it. We are working around the clock to make sure you can enjoy Sherman Commander in the spring of 2026. Realistic, but at the same time approachable and easy to understand. Tactical, but allowing you to unleash the fury directly at the enemy.
Xanarden He Unbound is a turn-based strategy RPG set in the fantasy land of Kalados, where players recruit heroes to confront a growing conspiracy. Battles rely on team composition, positioning, and elemental interactions based on 6 core elements. The campaign includes dozens of combat stages and encounters with powerful bosses. Players collect heroes, pets, and equipment through gameplay while improving gear and abilities. Additional modes feature large boss raids and competitive tournaments against strong AI-controlled teams.